Ever get that feeling? Like some traditions, they just stick around, even when they seem a little die off.
Oh, absolutely.
Like maybe it's that fruitcake everybody pretends to love at Christmas.
Right.
Or that awkward office birthday song that's always just a little too enthusiastic.
Yeah, I get you.
But imagine those traditions, those little quirks, taking a dark turn, like seriously dark. That's where we're going today, with Shirley Jackson's The Lottery.
Ooh, okay.
Now, chances are you've come across this story. Maybe back in school haunted you ever since.
It's a classic for a reason.
Exactly. And we've gone all in for this deep dive. Character analysis, historical context, the whole shebang. But here's the thing. Even if you think you know the lottery, this deep dive, it's going to uncover layers you never saw coming. This story, it doesn't just stick with you. It makes you question everything. Tradition, community, human nature, the works.
What always gets me about the lottery is how Jackson sets the stage, On the surface, it's just a beautiful summer day, small town, kids are out of school, sun shining.
Idyllic.
Exactly. People are just, living their lives. But underneath all that, Jackson weaves this incredible sense of unease. It's masterful.
It's so true. It's like watching a horror movie for the second time. You know the scary parts are coming, but it's those little things you didn't catch before.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Suddenly they're terrifying. Like, wait, those kids aren't just playing, they're gathering rocks for
Yeah. And that's where the foreshadowing comes in. It's subtle, right? The kids that beat up Black Box, even how the villagers are smiling, but it's all kind of forced.
Right.
On the first read, you might not think anything of it, but knowing the ending, chilling, Jackson slowly turns up the heat, and we don't even realize it's happening.
It's like we fall into the same trap as Tessie Hutchinson, right?
How so?
1 minute, she's just annoyed because she's late. I forgot what day it was. Next minute, her whole world's upside down.
Yeah.
We get so drawn into the village's routine, the ending hits us like a ton of bricks.
It's that contrast that makes it so powerful. You're not dealing with monsters or villains in the traditional sense. It's just ordinary people. Ordinary people taking part in something horrific.
And it's not like a one-time thing either, is it?
Nope. The story's structure, it's circular. It emphasizes that this lottery, it's a ritual, happens every year. No one questions it.
It makes you wonder, how could something like that even happen? A whole community complicit in something so awful.
That's the question, isn't it? And that question, it takes us straight to one of the most disturbing parts of the lottery.
You mean?
The characters themselves. It's like she chose their names on purpose, Summers, Graves, Delacroix.
It's true. You don't exactly think doom and gloom with those names.
Right. It's like she's pointing out this weird clash. You have these ordinary, pleasant-sounding names.
But
then you have the actual lottery, this horrific act they commit, year after year.
And it's that normalcy, that everyday feel that makes it even creepier, don't you think?
Exactly. And it reminds me of this idea, the banality of evil.
Okay, now you have to explain that one. Because honestly, evil being boring, that's not what I picture.
Right. You think, like, villains in a lair, plotting world domination. But Hannah Arendt, this philosopher, she argued that's not how evil usually shows up.
But so it's more subtle than that.
Way more. It's everyday people who might even seem nice, but they're just going along with things, following orders, or in this case, traditions, without really thinking about the consequences.
So you're saying the real horror of the lottery isn't some monster.
Right.
It's that it's just us.
In a way, yeah. Imagine if the villagers were all evil, cackling witches, right?
Way less scary.
Exactly, because it's so far removed from our own lives. But these are regular people. They're worrying about their gardens, gossiping, trying to get their kids to behave.
Really relatable.
Right, and that's what's so disturbing, because it makes you wonder, could I be that easily swayed? Would I have the guts to stand up and say, hey, this is wrong, or would I just go along with it?
It's like that whole thing, if you were a good German in the 1930s, it's easy to judge from the outside. But Jackson, she put you right there in the story.
Exactly. And then there's Tessie Hutchinson. At the start, she's just annoyed, right? Running late, complaining about the lottery.
But the second her family's picked.
Boom. Suddenly, she's all about fairness. But it's not even that she thinks the lottery itself is wrong. It's just that she doesn't want her family to be chosen.
She's more concerned with her own skin than the morality of the whole thing.
Exactly, which just shows how deeply rooted this tradition is in their society. No one even questions the lottery itself until they're the ones facing the consequences.
And then you have Old Man Warner. He is like the poster child for blind tradition.
Oh, for sure. He's been around the longest, seen it all, and for him, change is the enemy. The way we've always done it is the only way.
A real piece of work, that one.
But he serves a purpose, right?
Yeah.
He shows us the danger of clinging blindly to the past, of refusing to evolve, to question why things are the way they are.
It makes you think, are there old man Warners
Hmm?
in our own lives? What are we accepting without question just because that's how it's always been done? You know, it's funny, right? When I think about the lottery, it's not just the people or what happens that gets to me.
Oh, what is it then?
It's the stuff, the objects.
The objects.
Yeah, like that black box. Or the stones. They seem so ordinary, but in the story, they're like creepy.
You were talking about symbolism. It's one of the things that gives literature that extra punch. A writer can take something real, something you can hold.
Right, a box, a stone.
Exactly. And suddenly it means so much more. It's not just a box anymore. It represents something bigger, something maybe darker.
Okay, so break it down for me. The black box, what's it all about?
Well, on the surface, it's simple. It holds the slips of paper for the lottery.
But it's more than that, isn't it? I mean, it's falling apart. Nobody wants to touch it.
Right. It's old, been used for who knows how many lotteries, and nobody even suggests getting a new one. Because it represents that blind faith and tradition. It's the past weighing them down. They're trapped by it.
And the stones, those poor kids at the start, just gathering them up. Talk about foreshadowing.
It gets you, right? Such a simple thing, a stone.
But they're going to use them to kill someone.
And that's the point. It shows you how anything can be twisted. 1 minute it's a toy, the next.
A weapon.
Exactly. And not just any violence. This is mob violence, fueled by fear, by this unspoken pressure to conform.
Which makes me think about when Jackson wrote this. Wasn't it right after World War II?
1948, right in the middle of the Red Scare here in America.
So everyone's terrified of communists.
Pretty much. Suspicion, paranoia, people turning on each other. It's like a real-life version of the lottery in a way.
Oh, totally. You've got this community, they feel threatened, whether it's a bad harvest in the story or communism in the 50s.
And the solution is to sacrifice someone, to appease this fear.
It makes you wonder, are we really past that kind of thinking?
Right. We think we're so much more advanced. But history is a funny way of repeating itself, you know?
It's like those pylons you see online. Or how certain groups always seem to get blamed when things go wrong. It's easy to judge those villagers.
But are we so different? That's what Jackson leaves us with. No easy answers. Just this really disturbing look at what people are capable of.
You know what really got me? That little detail. How the kids are gathering the stones so casually.
Oh, yeah.
Like they don't even fully get what's about to happen.
But they're already part of it.
It's like this awful cycle, passed down to the next generation.
And that is probably the scariest thought of all. This blind obedience, this need to fit in, even if it leads to something terrible. That it can be taught, that it can continue.
Heavy stuff. Shirley Jackson really knew how to make you think.
She really did. And that's why The Lottery is perfect for a deep dive like this. It's more than just a spooky story. It makes you look at yourself, at society, and really think about the choices we make.
Well, on that note, we're going to let you sit with all that. Thank you for joining our deep dive into The Lottery.
Always a pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic, ready to uncover all those hidden depths and get those brain cells buzzing.